Welcome, this is your Option Monster Volatility Sonar Report. From the floor of the CBOE, I'm Jamie Tyrrell with Group 1 Trading. Well, looking back at yesterday's Sonar Report, we gave it in a very frenzied time in the VIX pit. People were paying up for upside calls left and right. The January 65 calls were trading $2.50. The January 80 calls were trading 50 cents. Just really high volatility levels, implied volatility levels on all of the upside lines. We saw a turn yesterday when Bank of America came out with some news that they weren't taking as much bailout money as some had feared. The number is 15 or 20 billion, and some people had feared more. So Bank of America really started to rally back. Citi picked up off of its lows, and a lot of the fear quickly dissipated right out of the VIX pit. So I talked about how implied volatility levels, the straddles, were just going through the roof. People were pricing some things at 110 vol in the beginning of the morning, then up to 160 vol, and in the second half of the day, we saw everything crash right back down. Lots of sellers. It seemed like a lot of the fear had subsided. Today in trading, we've had some back and forth trading. A lot of people are still concerned about the big banks right now, the Citi, Bank of America. There's a lot of volatility in those products right now, and some people are looking for upside protection in the VIX, buying the 60s, the 65s, the 70s. This is all going to expire next week. So today's Friday. Tuesday will be our last trading day, and then we will expire on the opening print on Wednesday. So people are seeking insurance for an event that is in the very near future. One thing that has kept implied levels down today, kept the prices that you need to pay for the 60s, the 65s down, is one of our major customers is closing out their longs on those lines. So they had been long the 60s, the 65s. They put up some giant trades in the last couple weeks where they bought those for 40 cents and 30 cents. And today they're selling out of those. They're selling the 60s for 50 cents. They're selling the 65s for 30 cents. And they're rolling into February. They're buying the February 70 calls for $1.20. So the whole trade cost them 40 cents, but they're willing to give up the 2 days of protection on the 60 and 65 line to have a whole month of protection in February. So with them selling those January calls, a lot of the people who are in a frenzy to go buy them find that there's a lot more supply out there. And so with all the supply, it's really lowering the price that those things have been trading. So 50 cents on the 60s, 30 cents on the 65s, trading in there. The VIX level right now is on the cash has dropped under 50. That's a little bit deceiving because we have this 3-day holiday weekend coming up. People in the S&P 500 pit are pricing in less volatility over the next few days because of the 3-day weekend. But once we come back to trade on Tuesday, that weekend's going to be out of their calculations, and they'll be pricing in more volatility per day because the 3-day gap is gone. So you'll see the VIX cash, as I'm talking, is right about 49.5, but the VIX future, the January future, is really a better gauge, and that is at 51.50 as I'm talking right now. So about a $2 spread between the two, most of that explained by the coming 3-day weekend. This is Jamie Tyrrell with Group 1 Option Monster. Check back for more. We'll have a lot of information on the last day of VIX trading on Tuesday, and then the print on Wednesday.
Any of you boys seen an aircraft carrier around here?